So today we are talking about Fantom, FTM, the layer 1 blockchain Ethereum killer competitor to Ethereum. And we're going to be doing a deep dive, trying to understand what its real potential is, and if it's something that you and I should invest in. If it's your first time here, my name's Ryan. No Autopilot YouTube channel. #1 YouTube channel out there for crypto due diligence and investing research. Here we evaluate projects in depth, looking at product market potential, the founding team, their track record, tokenomics, and their community. Make sure you stay tuned to the entire video, because at the end, I'm going to go ahead and share with you some potential triggers that could pump the price of Fantom. Let's get into Fantom Network. So as I mentioned, it's a layer 1 open source smart contract platform that has built-in Ethereum virtual machine compatibility, meaning that if you have an Ethereum dApp or protocol and you want to go ahead and port that over to Fantom, it's almost as easy as a copy and paste for you. And that's a big deal if you're a developer on Ethereum whose protocol is stagnating due to the high fees, slow transaction times that are happening right now on the Ethereum network. Fantom goes ahead and they use Lachesis as their kind of technology to go ahead and manage the consensus algorithm. And that allows them to go ahead and achieve faster transaction speeds, a very secure network that is very scalable and exceptionally cheap to process transactions on. Now we look at use cases, right? Transaction speeds, transaction costs. A lot of that goes ahead and it touches on DeFi protocols. Some that have gone ahead and leaped forward in building out on Fantom as Curve, or even NFT ecosystems like Opera House. Even technology around pharmaceutical authenticity that is being pioneered on the Fantom network. Now, if we go ahead and we look at some on-chain metrics here, this is the daily transaction chart that's happening right now on the Fantom network, and it is looking very, very strong. Very, very strong. Now we look at some of the biggest competitors here. Probably going to have to take a pit stop and look at Polkadot. Polkadot is another kind of layer 0, actually, blockchain, but in essence is targeting that same thing, solving the fees, solving the transaction times, while also building interoperability between blockchains. Solana is another competitor in that exact same space that's trying to do that exact same thing and capture that market share from Ethereum. So let's take a stop and look at the founding team. Okay, starting with Michael Kong. So Michael has 4 years at Fantom, which is a very, very long time. Very rarely do you see developers or leaders of these blockchain protocols stick around for more than a year and a half, 2 years. Some of his experience, he was a teacher at the University of Sydney, covering crypto and financial markets. He was the advisor to a hedge fund on their investments in crypto, and he's been an Ethereum developer way back since 2017. In addition to that, they also have Andre Cronje, who's a DeFi architect for him. He is the creator behind Yearn Finance. And at one point, he served as Fantom's chief technology officer and is currently on staff as a tech advisor for their project. And he has a technology career dating back all the way to 2005, touching technology or blockchain in one way or another. Now we look at this team. What have they been able to raise? Well, they've been able to raise a considerable amount of money. And in fact, just since last year, they were able to raise $15 million from Hyperchain, as well as another $20 million from Block Tower Capital. Some of the key partnerships that they've touted, Oracle being one, and some of their investors that we touched on, again, Blackwater. Now, other partnerships that they're out there forging, how about with state governments? Working with Afghanistan, Ukraine, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan to go ahead and help solve some of the authenticity issues when it comes to the global supply chain of pharmaceuticals and medicine. Now, when we go ahead and we look at the token, it is the FTM token. Its use is used for staking, governance, payments, and fees. There's a total supply of a little bit over 3 billion tokens, with a current circulating supply of 2.5 billion. I would label this token as inflationary, as there's a 5% addition every single year to go ahead and help support the ecosystem's growth and long-standing stability. Now, we go back in time, we look at some of the seed rounds and how this thing was funded. So way back in March 2018, for their seed round, you could have bought a Fantom token for a penny. A penny. They went ahead and they had another round shortly after that in a private sale. That raised 3 cents per token. And then finally wrapping it all up, they had a public sale in June of 2018 for 4 cents. It pays to be early, folks. It pays to be early. Now, if we look at the distribution of the token, we can see that 40% of it went to the token sale, 15% of it went to the team and the founders, 15% to the advisors and contributors, and 30% to their market development. Now, one big plus when I'm looking at this project is their vesting schedule. Because as you look at this, the mass amount of tokens that the early private sale seed funders have earned, those tokens have already unlocked. And likely any headwinds on the price that we would have seen from that, going 100x on their investment has likely already occurred. So that's more than likely in the past. Now, if we play the game, what if? So if Fantom went ahead and hit the fully circulating supply market cap of Ethereum, you're looking at a 69.9x. That was incidental. I didn't choose 69. It just happened that way. And if they also go ahead and hit the market cap of a different competitor, Solana, that would be a 6x from where they are today. Now, the next step that we want to take a look at is their social media presence. We need to understand if there's a strong community behind this project. So we pull up the Reddit, 33,000 members. Twitter has 380,000 followers. They do have a blog that they post to very regularly with some of their developments and announcements. If you pull up Lunar Crush, it does seem that some of the dApps that are launching on Fantom are creating a little bit of a buzz when it comes to social media sentiment. Because as you can see here, social contributors is up quite a bit, as is engagement, dominance. Now, I'll go ahead and I'll play this for you just shortly here. There you go. We mentioned that some of the potential triggers for this thing could be continued state sponsorships and partnerships. So there's a big issue out there right now with counterfeit drug programs, right? People are selling drugs that are counterfeit. They're not real. And people get sick. People overpay, all those things. And so Fantom has worked with those governments that we mentioned earlier before to go ahead and create IDs for these products, attach them to those medicine bottles in essence, and then the users go ahead and they scan it with an app on their phone to confirm its authenticity. Really, really cool. Now, I think another potential pump for this thing is, again, you have to keep in mind that the vesting schedule, the worst is behind us. The worst of the unlock schedule is behind us. And with that not being a headwind, I think we're starting to establish a higher and higher floor price for the Fantom token. Now, we also went ahead and we talked about how they raised $15 million from Hyperchain, as well as the other $20 million from the other investment firm. And that has to be going either into product development, hiring people, marketing. There's the other $20 million that we talked about. And what's interesting there is if you go to their jobs page and you look to see who they're hiring, they are not hiring that many people. So it's possible that we may be ahead of the curve in that observation. Now, they also have, at a last point last year when CBDCs were all the rage, they went ahead and they did present to the United Nations on their ability to go ahead and provide a CBDC product. Another potential pump in this particular protocol's price is the incentive program that they went ahead and created. So they went ahead and they took a great deal of tokens, 370 million FTM tokens, and are giving them as grants to developers to lure them over to develop on Fantom. And if they can develop a project that can earn some value coming into the blockchain and gain some users, a lot of those costs to build it are offset, and those developers are making mint. Interestingly enough, and this was just in September 29th of 2021, they extended this specifically to blockchain gaming projects. If you've been on my channel for a while, we've covered probably half a dozen GameFi projects over the last few weeks, and it, I believe, is going to be the next major surge in cryptocurrency. So it's interesting to see that they're earmarking a certain amount of those FTM tokens specifically for blockchain gaming. Now, again, we went ahead, we kind of covered this, but the daily transactions that are happening right now on the Fantom network seem to be consistently growing over and over and over ever since kind of that May pump. And although if we pull up end of the block, overall large transactions are down, right? 12% showing bearish. That is likely due to kind of the choppiness of the market and all the uncertainty. If you have a bunch of money in the protocol, likely you're pulling it out, selling, going back to fiat, what have you. But as we just mentioned, the net network growth, so addresses without a zero balance that are actually using the protocol, is flashing bullish right now on end of the block. Another potential pump for this thing would be a listing on Coinbase. That is the only major exchange right now that they are not listed on. And likely that is due to how they go ahead and they secure their network. Coinbase has a requirement where you have to prove that your protocol is sufficiently decentralized. And I don't think Fantom, at least at this point, with some of their node operators, delegators, stakers, all that, are at a place where they can go ahead and check that box. But if they were able to do that, then I think a Coinbase listing could be on the horizon. So let's go over two scenarios. One, the bullish scenario. Fantom has slowly been adding strength over the last year and a half. With token unlocks mostly complete and behind us, those headwinds on those early backers selling their tokens is gone, creating a very stable floor for the FTM price. If they can continue go ahead and adapt new protocols coming into the project, new users coming into the project, they've raised some money, and the only reason you raise money in an existing protocol like this is to go ahead and expand it and increase your reach. The incentive program that they've put together to attract dev talent, both in DeFi and GameFi, could pay off huge. And those are two sectors I'd probably watch and keeping an eye on Fantom. And then finally, as Ethereum continues to wrestle with the high fees, slow transaction speeds, Polkadot is kind of wrestling their way through their slow parachain project auctions, and Solana gets all the hate in the world for its centralization, Fantom kind of emerges from the mist as the potential Ethereum killer. Now a bearish scenario, okay? Not everything is roses. Okay, so a protocol that has been released since 2018 never really gets off the ground. It's a long time in crypto, okay? You're talking 3 years, 4 years almost. That's a long time in crypto. And Fantom isn't the only one that's targeting the Ethereum virtual machine, as well as incentives to lure developers and talent to their protocol. Also, there are some concerns about some of the founding team members, especially if Andre were to leave Fantom. Where would that leave the development of the protocol? And then finally, maybe they missed it. Maybe they missed that opportunity to surpass Ethereum while it was down. And unfortunately, since they weren't able to seize that opportunity, they're going to be surpassed by other projects that are more relevant, more modern technology, that are backed by more money and more devs. But what do you think? What did I miss? I'm going to go ahead and put links in the description down below that I think you may find valuable. 1, to the Fantom website, 2, to their market cap listing, and 3, to their blog. But I want to know what you think. What do you think about Fantom? Is it the Ethereum killer or not?